The Mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto. Imagine a man who created a trillion-dollar currency, and then he disappeared. No one knows his face. No one knows his real name. This is the mystery of Bitcoin. The world was in crisis. The year was 2008. The world was in trouble. Banks were failing. People were losing their jobs. People were losing their homes. This was called the global financial crisis. People had trusted banks for hundreds of years. Now that trust was broken. People felt angry. People felt afraid. They asked one question: who can we trust? Nobody had an answer. Not yet. A strange paper appeared. In October 2008, something unusual happened. A paper appeared on the internet. It had a simple title: Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The author had a name: Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knew this name. Nobody had heard it before. But the idea in the paper was powerful. Satoshi proposed something completely new. He proposed digital money. Money that lived on the internet. Money that did not need a bank. Money that did not need a government. Money that belonged to the people. The Genesis block. The year changed. It was now 2009. Satoshi did not just write about his idea. He built it. On January 3, 2009, he started the Bitcoin network. He mined the very first block of Bitcoin. People called it the Genesis block. It was the beginning of everything. Inside the Genesis block, Satoshi left a message. It was a headline from a newspaper that day: Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It was not an accident. Satoshi was saying, the old system is broken. This is something new. Bitcoin was born. The ghost in the machine. For the next 2 years, Satoshi worked quietly. He talked to developers online. He answered questions. He fixed problems. He improved the code. But he always hid behind a screen. Nobody met him in person. Nobody heard his voice. Nobody saw his face. His identity remained a complete mystery. Some people thought he was one man. Some people thought he was a group. Nobody knew the truth. The last email. Then came 2011. In April 2011, Satoshi sent an email to a developer named Gavin Andreessen. The email was short. He said the project was now in good hands. He said goodbye. And then he vanished. No more emails, no more messages, no more code. Satoshi Nakamoto simply disappeared from the internet. Just like that. Gone. The mystery lives on. Today, Bitcoin is worth trillions of dollars. Millions of people use it. It changed finance forever. It changed technology forever. But one question still has no answer. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Many people have claimed to be him. Journalists have investigated for years. Nobody has succeeded. Somewhere in the world, Satoshi's Bitcoin wallet holds nearly 1 million Bitcoins. He's never touched them. He's never spent a single one. The money sits there, waiting, silent, just like its creator. The root problem with conventional currency is all the trust that's required to make it work. Satoshi Nakamoto, 2009. The most expensive pizza in history. Would you pay $500 million for 2 pizzas? In 2010, one man did exactly that. It was the first time anyone used Bitcoin to buy something real. In the beginning, Bitcoin was nothing. Let's go back to 2009. Bitcoin was brand new. It had no price. It had no value. Not yet. The people who used Bitcoin were not bankers. They were not investors. They were computer geeks. They were programmers.
For them, Bitcoin was just a fun experiment. It was a hobby, nothing more. One of those people was a programmer named Laszlo Hanitz. He lived in Florida, USA. He was young, he was clever, and on one afternoon in May 2010, he was very, very hungry. A hungry programmer and a simple idea. It was May 22nd, 2010. Laszlo wanted pizza, real pizza, hot, cheesy, delicious pizza. He had a problem. He had Bitcoin, but Bitcoin could not buy anything. No shop accepted it. Bitcoin was not real money yet. It was just numbers on a screen. So Laszlo went to an online forum called Bitcoin Talk. He wrote a message, "I'll pay 10,000 Bitcoins for a couple of pizzas." He was not trying to make history. He was just hungry. Someone said yes. Most people ignored the post, but then a young man named Jeremy Sturdivant said yes. He agreed to buy the pizzas in exchange for the 10,000 Bitcoins. The pizzas arrived. Laszlo was happy. At that moment, 10,000 Bitcoins were worth approximately $41. It was a fair trade. Nobody was upset. Nobody felt foolish. It was just pizza. The price that changed everything. Time passed. Bitcoin changed. Its value grew slowly at first, then faster, then much, much faster. In 2013, Bitcoin reached $100, then $1,000. In 2017, it reached $20,000. In 2021, one Bitcoin was worth more than $60,000. Now do the math. Laszlo paid 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. At $60,000 each, those Bitcoins were worth $600 million. $600 million for pizza. But here's what Laszlo said. "I don't regret it. I think it's great that I got to be part of Bitcoin's history." Bitcoin Pizza Day. Every year on May 22nd, the Bitcoin community celebrates. They call it Bitcoin Pizza Day. It was the first time anyone used Bitcoin to buy something real. Before that day, Bitcoin was just a digital experiment. After that day, Bitcoin was money. From experiment to digital gold. In 2010, Bitcoin was worth less than 1 cent. By 2021, one Bitcoin was worth more than $60,000. That's not just growth, that's an explosion. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. No government can print more. It's rare, it's limited, it's valuable. That's why people started calling it digital gold. And it all started with 2 pizzas and a hungry programmer in Florida. How does Bitcoin actually work? Banks have huge buildings and big vaults, but Bitcoin lives nowhere. It has no physical coins. So how can it be worth more than gold? The problem with normal money. Who controls normal money? Central banks do. In Pakistan, the state bank controls the rupee. In America, the Federal Reserve controls the dollar. These banks decide how much money exists. They can print more money whenever they want. This sounds safe, but there is a problem. What if the bank makes a mistake? What if the government prints too much money? In 2008, the world saw exactly this happen. Banks made terrible decisions. People lost everything. Satoshi Nakamoto saw this problem. He had a different idea. What if nobody was in charge? This idea has a name. It is called decentralization. No boss, no building, no problem. Decentralization means there is no center, there is no boss. Bitcoin lives on thousands of computers around the world, in Pakistan, in America, in Japan, in Brazil, all at the same time. Think of it like this. A normal bank is like one library. If that library burns down, all the books are gone. Bitcoin is like millions of libraries, all holding the same books. If one burns, nothing is lost. This is why Bitcoin cannot be destroyed. This is why no government can simply switch it off. The blockchain, a digital list. Now here's the most important idea. How does Bitcoin keep track of everything? The answer is the blockchain. The blockchain is a list, a very long, very secure digital list. Every single Bitcoin transaction in history is written on this list. The list never stops growing. It never gets deleted. It is permanent. If someone tries to cheat, if someone tries to send Bitcoin they do not have, every computer on the network says no. The transaction is rejected. The cheat fails. This is why Bitcoin is called trustless. You do not need to trust a bank. You only need to trust the math. And math does not lie. Mining. How new Bitcoin is created. If there's no central bank, who creates new Bitcoin? The answer is miners, but not the kind with helmets and pickaxes. Bitcoin miners are computers, very powerful computers. They solve extremely difficult mathematical puzzles. These puzzles protect the blockchain. They verify every new transaction. When a computer solves a puzzle, it earns a reward. That reward is new Bitcoin. This is how new Bitcoin enters the world, not by printing, not by a government decision, by solving mathematics. To cheat Bitcoin, you would need to control more than half of all the computers on the network simultaneously. There are hundreds of thousands of these computers worldwide. That's practically impossible. Only 21 million, forever. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. This number is written into the code. Nobody can create more. Not Satoshi, not a government, not a bank, not anyone. Normal money can be printed endlessly. When governments print too much, value falls. This is called inflation. Your savings lose their power slowly. Bitcoin is the opposite. Its supply is fixed. As more people want it, its value goes up. This is why economists compare it to gold. So how does it actually work? Let's put it all together simply. Someone sends Bitcoin. Thousands of computers see this. They all check it. They all agree it's valid. It gets written on the blockchain forever. The transaction is complete. No bank needed, no permission needed, no delays, no borders. Just math, just code, just trust in the system. The bigger picture. 3 stories, 3 chapters of the same revolution. A mysterious man who saw a broken world and built something new, a hungry programmer who paid millions for pizza without knowing it, and a system of mathematics so clever that no bank, no government, no army can break it. Bitcoin is not just money, it's an idea. The idea that ordinary people can control their own wealth. The idea that mathematics is more honest than any human institution. Whether Bitcoin succeeds or fails in the long run, history has already been made. And it all started with one quiet paper published online by a person who then simply disappeared.